Telling you, man, one of these days I'm gonna get me some of them nice fancy tools that are like, I don't know, maybe not. I kind of like doing it by hand. All right, you guys, welcome back to the vlog. My name's Red, and also welcome to Washington. You really can't tell because obviously I'm in my little cubby making my videos here, but we have finally arrived to Washington, you guys, which means that I can go ahead and I can finally start to take apart the Bronco and get that ESC out that caught on fire. We're going to talk about that too, and get that sent in to see what happened, start the warranty process, which you guys, I'm going to try to document this whole entire thing so you can see how the process goes and you know that whole thing. So we have a few things to do on this truck today, but the main thing and the goal we're going to do today is we're going to get this ESC out of here so that way we can start the warranty process with Traxxas. I do have to take it out and send it into them so that way they can diagnose it and take a look at it, and actually even let me know if it's going to be replaceable at no charge to me, which is always possible, you guys. This is relatively new. I don't know how they're going to treat it because I'm a traveler. So it's been, I bought it in March, mid-March. It caught on fire mid-April, about a month later, guys. And here we are in mid-May, and I'm finally just now getting able to get to fixing it. So I don't know how they're going to treat that, as if it happened within that 30-day window or not. I'm assuming not, but we'll see. Maybe it's a problem with the ESC itself, and then maybe they'll just issue me a new one free of charge. That's always possible. But if not, they do have a pretty sweet warranty program, to my understanding. If it is needed to be replaced by a new one, they will replace that for $25 and a $5 flat shipping rate here in the US. Canada, I think it's different. But here in the US, $25 for the replacement, you guys, and $5 for shipping, $30 for a new ESC. One of the things on this here is that I'm not really sure if it was 100% my fault or if it's Traxxas' fault. That is one of the main reasons I want to send this ESC in and see what they say. I have learned during this process, though, that this is a big problem that Traxxas has, unfortunately, is that their ESCs seem to catch on fire, which is, that's no good, right? But I did order a new servo for this rig, and I wasn't paying full attention when I ordered it. I ordered the 45 kilogram one instead of the 35 that I wanted. The 35 kilogram would stay at the voltage acceptable for this. I believe the maximum for the ESC on this Traxxas is 6 volts for your BEC, for your electronics here, your servo. And the 45 kilogram one that I accidentally got and put in is an 8.4 volt max. So I'm not really sure if it was my fault or if it's Traxxas' fault. Also, what I'm hearing now is it's possible that that ESC is not going to do what happened to the, or I'm sorry, that the servo is not going to do what happened to the ESC. Some have told me that, yeah, that's possible. That is very, very well possible that drew too much power, which in results caught the ESC on fire. Then on the other hand, I have people telling me, now that might not be the case because the internal BEC that comes in this here ESC, so many abbreviations and stuff. I was told that the BEC in the ESC may not allow it to get to maximum voltage. It might cut it off at the maximum 6. But then others has told me it might pull past the 6 and catch you on fire. So I'm not really sure what happened. And somebody mentioned in my comments on this video when it first happened, and I had no clue what was happening. My frustration was showing, and somebody said, well, shouldn't you take the video down? Well, no, not necessarily, because we're still trying to figure it out. It may be my fault. It may be Traxxas' fault. We don't know, you guys. So that's this process, and that's why I'm trying to bring it to you. And we're gonna go through it, and we're gonna figure it out and see what happened. First thing we have to do, though, you guys, is we have to get this out. I'm gonna get the ESC out. I have to take the tray off. I have to get back inside the receiver box. I have to unwire this, take it off of the motor, you guys, which is really, really easy right here. You can just pull these ones apart, okay? You can take the motor apart just like that. Now I have to just get the wiring, chase it out, and get it out, and then that'll be ready to ship back. That's the first thing we do. Then I have to get a hold of Traxxas, and I'm going to call them because my situation's funny, you guys. I bought this in Arizona. It broke down and caught on fire in the Sequoia National Park in California, and now I'm in Washington trying to fix it. So my situation's real weird on what address are they going to want for my warranty, what address should I give them, things like that, you guys, because now my shipping address is here, but my original purchase address is back in Arizona, so the receipt ain't going to match my shipping. So I just want to make sure there's nothing weird. Make sure everything gets done properly. So we're going to call Traxxas. And then the other thing I have to do is I have to find the serial number on this thing. They want a serial number for my registration for this vehicle, but I don't know where the serial number is, you guys. So I'm going to look for that while I'm taking this apart. And then we'll go from there. I'll get the ESC out. We'll call Traxxas. And we'll see what happens, you guys. It looks like I have to get underneath the battery tray. A couple screws right here. I should be able to get that wire out, and then we'll move on to the end of the box. While I'm doing this, though, I kind of want to talk about what happened. Like I said, I originally accidentally put in a new servo that could possibly have went over the voltage and drew too much voltage and caught it on fire. That's very well possible. It is also possible that I have a defective one from Traxxas. It seems like that happens a lot, you guys, from my new understanding. During researching this and things like that, I discovered that Traxxas tends to have a problem with their electronics catching on fire, which is not good. But we don't know. We don't know that's what happened here. So that's why we're going to tear this thing apart, and we are going to go ahead and figure that out. All right, we're zip tied in here. Okay, got to get the X-Acto knife. Hold up. All right, my apologies. I had to get the X-Acto knife, and then you guys, I get distracted easily. You know what I'm saying? Squirrel! Things like that. Anyway, I put the new servo in. It is an 8.4 volt servo, which is over the 6.0 volts, I believe, maximum for the servo, or the ESC. So it's possible, it's very well possible that I accidentally put one in that is overpowered and drew too much. Now, it's also possible that this is Traxxas' fault because, like I said, I've been seeing and discovering a lot that this happens to all sorts of Traxxas' electronics. Most people, unfortunately, say that when they buy a Traxxas vehicle, they're buying it just for the vehicle. They take the electronics and motors out automatically right away and get rid of them and put in new. I think that's kind of, I mean, I get it. But I think that's kind of shitty. You know what I mean? Like, we pay a lot of money for these. I paid $500 and some with the battery, $600 and some dollars, you know what I mean, for the kit, you guys. And within the first month, I had to replace the servo, and we caught fire, which could be my fault. I'm not saying nothing bad yet. But I think that's kind of crappy that that's what you expect from a manufacturer when you buy one of their vehicles. You're like, oh, well, it's going to catch on fire, or the motor's going to die, or the servo's going to go out right away, so I got to buy new stuff right away. I think that's kind of crappy. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be like that. But although I do understand, too, if they put bigger, better electronics and motors in it right away, that's just going to drive up the price a little more. You know what I mean? I get it, you guys. It just shouldn't be expected. You know what I mean? All right, I want to jump in here real quick and move this aside, and let's talk about the BEC. Now, you guys may have heard me say BEC earlier and that this has an internal one. Let's talk about that. First of all, don't forget, I am a rookie here. I'm still learning this, so I'm going to try to explain it to the understanding that I have it so far. If I have anything wrong or am I missing anything, please feel free to leave it in the comments, you guys, and let me know. I'm always down to learn something and pass on and share with everybody what I'm learning, so do the same. Anyway, inside of our ESCs, there is a little piece of equipment, a little electronic called a BEC. Now, if I remember correctly, that stands for Battery Eliminator Circuit, which is weird because you're not really eliminating the battery circuit. You're just kind of, you're changing it, you're doing things to it, okay? So let me grab these two batteries here, and I'm gonna kind of explain this, I think. All right, so here we have a Traxxas 3S LiPo, which has 11.1 volts of electricity when it's fully charged, you guys. 11.1 volts is what it's putting out, okay? The 2S one from Spectrum, you'll see here, it is putting out 7.4 volts, okay? So it's going to put out 7.4. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Your servos and some of your other electronics can't handle a full 11.1 or sometimes even a full 7.4 volts, okay? That's where we have to have a BEC, battery eliminator circuit. Your battery eliminator circuit, which is internally installed on most of them, you can get external ones to up the amperage and run more powerful servos and things. But your internal ones normally come, if I'm not mistaken, they normally come in like the 6 to 7.4 range. Traxxas here, the internal one has a range of a maximum 6 volts. Okay, you guys. So our servo that comes in it from Traxxas, that's 6 volts. Most 35, 25 gram servos are going to be about 6 volts of power. Some you'll see that say they'll run between maybe 5 something, 6 something to 7 something or 8 something, okay? So they have that range of what they can run. The one that came in this was a 6 volt servo. This has a maximum 6 volt BEC in it. So when I put my 3S 11.1 volt battery in my truck and I hook it up, it's going to take that 11.1 volts and it's going to run it into the BEC, which is then going to knock it down to a 6 volt running limit. So that means it's not going to run at your 11.1 volts because you're going to fry everything. So it's going to bring it down to the 6 volts that's needed to run the servo so you don't burn up the servo or anything, okay? You can get external BECs that run much larger. You can get external ones that you can attach and hook up. It's pretty simple. Some soldering on some of them. Some of them have controls to where you can control the voltage that it accepts, so you can change it. So when I put my 7.4 volt or my 11.1 volt in, it's going to knock it down to the 6. Or if I have an external, it's going to allow a full 7.4 volts through. Or it'll allow all the way up to your 11.1, which I don't think they even make stuff that powerful. But in the case of me getting a mistaken and accidental 8.4 volt servo, if I get an external BEC that can handle the voltage, it will then allow the maximum 8.4 volts to be drawn to the servo, full power. It'll bypass this one that's only 6, and it'll give you your full amperage that you're looking for. Now, I know that sounds kind of confusing. Maybe it don't. There's other videos other people have that explain it way better, you guys. I'm just a rookie explaining it with my knowledge that I'm learning so far. And if I have it correct, that's basically how it's going to do. Take your big batteries. It's going to limit the power that's going to go to your servos and electronics so you don't catch on fire. External ones allow more power to flow through to other things. Now, in my case, you guys, I could go ahead and get a BEC that's going to allow the power flow to the 8.4 volt servo. But right now, with everything that's going on, I don't know if I'm going to go that route. I might just replace the servo with a cheaper servo that's going to get me running that don't need a BEC, and set this aside so I can learn more about the BECs and make sure I get the right one and do it the right way, because I don't want to burn anything up again, and I definitely don't want to catch anything on fire, that's for sure. Now, there are several BECs on the market. They all do different things. They all come in different sizes and allow different amperages through. Traxxas does have one. Now, I can't really find the specs on it. So if you guys know the specs, please put that in the description down below. Let me know. Tag me in something. Tell me where I can find these specs that tells me the maximum voltage that the BEC from Traxxas puts out. On their website and on like things like Amazon and main and things, the only thing I can really find is that it says 12 volts. Now, does that mean that's the maximum, or you know what I mean? I don't know. There's not really many specs on it to where if I go to other ones like Castle or some other BEC, people who made BECs, in their specs, they have a complete breakdown of this can run power from 5 point to 7 point whatever volts. This has a maximum of 8.4 volts or a maximum of 7.4 volts. Or this BEC can run from 5 point something volts all the way to 8.4 volts. And then you have a program card to where you actually go in, hook up to your BEC, and you can program how much voltage you're allowing through that BEC to your electronics. So there's a wide range of BECs, you guys. I think I had the understanding on how they work. I just want to make sure I get the proper one. And if it includes soldering, I don't know how to solder yet. Another stepping stone I need to take in the RC journey so I can do my own ends and hook up my own BECs and things like that. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an understanding of what a BEC is, what it does, how it works, and how it will save your electronics from burning up if you get an external one, and how it could possibly burn your internal, your ones that come in your ESC. It could burn it up if you draw too much through there. So it's a possibility. That's what I did. It's a possibility that my BEC stopped my current at 6 and wouldn't allow it to go to the maximum 8.4 on that servo, which means that it wasn't, and it might not have been what caused the servo to catch on fire. This is on the way out the door in a few days to Traxxas, and we're going to find out what they say and what they are going to do. In the meantime, I think I might just replace it with a Jora servo maybe, or I'm not really sure. We'll see how it goes, but that's kind of where I'm leaning right now. Quick fix so I can get it out on the trail and have some fun with it again, because it's been broken down ever since I've had it, you guys, pretty much. So I think that's where I stand now, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and move this stuff out of the way. I hope you got an understanding for that. I hope I didn't make it too confusing. And then we will go ahead and get back to our truck and the rest of the video. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we're going to go ahead through with the warranty process to this. I am going to call Traxxas. We have to fill out our registration and get this vehicle registered with them. And then I'm going to ship it to them. They want the ESC so they can diagnose it and see if it was a internal oopsie with their electronics, and then they could possibly reissue me a new one completely free of charge. And if not, and it has to be replaced because it was my fault or something, then the warranty process is actually pretty sweet from what I hear. Is I'm going to ship this to them. They'll check it out. They'll say, hey, you need to replace this. It was your fault. You effed up. Give us $25 and $5 for shipping, $30, and they're going to send me a new one. Which I think is pretty sweet, since these are like, I think they're like $70 or so. So that's all right. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Get the new one in. Get the BEC installed. And then I want to run it and just give Traxxas the benefit of the doubt, you guys, and make sure everything's proper and works okay. And see if it was my fault. And if it was my fault, I can accept that. I'll learn from that and move on. But if it was their fault, then we'll know. And then if it turns out to be their fault, you guys, or happens again, then I'll go ahead and go through and replace it with something different, which I wanted to do from the beginning. But like I said, I kind of want to give Traxxas the benefit of the doubt, you guys. This is my first Traxxas rig, and I'm just going to go through with the process and see. And hopefully, I know it sounds odd, but hopefully it was my fault and not just some bum electronics. We'll see, you guys. We'll see. Here's another little thing that I'm sitting here chasing this wire like I don't know which one it is. That's what I mean. Sometimes I get a little scatterbrained, ADD, ADHD, whatever. You know what I mean? An easy way to remember where your servo and your electronics get plugged into is a saying that I learned that says 1 to turn, 2 to burn. Okay? So 2 is going to be your ESC. That's going to give you your power. 1's going to be your servo. 1 to turn, 2 to burn. I think that's a pretty slick little way of remembering where to plug in your electronics. I'm telling you, man, one of these days I'm going to get me some of them nice fancy tools that are like, I don't know, maybe not. I kind of like I like doing it by hand. I don't know how long this process is going to take. It could take a couple of days. It could take a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? That's why I waited until I got to my new destination in Washington to start the process, because I wouldn't have an address for return shipping. So that's why I chose to wait, or had to wait, I guess you could say. So I'm gonna cinch all this stuff back down, just for temporary, and go from there. All right, you guys, so there we have it. There is the ESC we have to send back to Traxxas. Like I said, I will try to... Oh, I got some loose wire right here, you guys. Check that out. A little bit of wire sticking out. I hope one of them cameras can see that. A little bit of frayed wire sticking out of there. Could it be Traxxas' fault? Not a lot, but there is. There is a little strand of wire coming out of the ESC where it meets that didn't get encased or didn't get hooked up. So it's very well possible something's wrong with this one. But we'll find out, you guys. I'm going to ship this off. I still got to find the serial number on this thing. I don't know. Maybe Traxxas will tell me over the phone where it's at. But the next step, I'm going to call Traxxas, you guys, and we're going to start the warranty process on this ESC. And I'm going to try to document that so you guys can see how the process goes and see if it's easy, how long it takes, and what the process is in general, you guys. I hope I cleared some things up on what could possibly have gone wrong with the Bronco, and I hope maybe even you learned something from my mistakes at the very least. But appreciate you being here. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, smash that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos on what happens with the process of this and the warranty process. Get a controller in your hand, go out, have some fun, and I hope to see you on the next one. Peace.